The Padma Award investiture ceremony at the Rashtrapati Bhavan is being hailed for recognizing true heroes of India. Now, amongst the awardees is a former Pakistan Army officer. Lieutenant Colonel Qazi Sajjad Zahir, a former gunner officer, was shocked by the atrocities being committed by Pakistan Army in 1971. Incidentally, his army, he was then a serving Pakistan Army officer in West Pakistan. He crossed over into India late one night in December 1971. Now, there is a death warrant pending against him in Pakistan even today, as he calls for Pakistan Army to be tried for genocide and war crimes. Abhishek Bhalla gets us more.
The Rashtrapati Bhavan echoed with applause as Lieutenant Colonel Qazi Sajjad, a former Pakistan Army officer, smartly walked to President Ramnath Kovind to receive the Padma Shri. He received the award as a recognition of his contribution to the 1971 India-Pakistan War for the liberation of Bangladesh. In 1971, Qazi Sajjad was a young lieutenant in the Pakistan Army's artillery regiment posted in West Pakistan along the India-Pakistan border. He was angered by atrocities committed by the Pakistan Army in then East Pakistan, currently Bangladesh. He decided then to defect. With secret Pakistan Army deployment documents stuffed into his boots, all of 20 years old, he crossed over to the Indian side in the Shakargarh area.
As a member of Pakistan's elite 14 para-brigade in Sialkot, I was an isolated human being. But then I always thought, I have three persons inside me, myself and I. So I started planning. And if I plan to go, which group should I follow? I decided to follow a very difficult route across Shakargarh towards Jammu.
He was questioned extensively by the Indian Army at Pathankot. He says his map reading skills were excellent, and based on his maps, the Indian Army was able to exploit the weaknesses of the Pakistan Army in the western sector. He was subsequently dispatched to help train the Mukti Bahini in Bangladesh. Lieutenant Colonel Sajjad speaks of the horrors that Bengalis of East Pakistan suffered at the hands of the Pakistan Army.
Within 23 years, Jinnah's Pakistan became a Kabbarstan for us. We are treated like second-class citizens, no rights, economic or social or job security, nothing actually. We are a deprived population. Jinnah committed us that he will give us democracy. We never got a democracy. We only got a martial law. He said he will give us equal rights. We didn't have equal rights. We were treated as servants of Pakistan. He said he will give us solvency, economic solvency. We didn't get that. We are getting poorer and poorer.
The Pakistan Army realized he had defected to India and was guiding the Mukti Bahini and put out a death warrant against him. Fortunately, he managed to get his family out of harm's way. After the liberation of Bangladesh, Lieutenant Colonel Sajjad was awarded the Bir Pratik in Bangladesh, equivalent to India's Veer Chakra. He was also awarded the Swadhinta Padak in Bangladesh. And today, he's Padma Shri Lieutenant Colonel Qazi Sajjad.
Lieutenant Colonel Sajjad has a death sentence pending against him in Pakistan for the last 50 years. And he wears this as a badge of honor because it reminds him that he could stand up against the Pakistani army that he was part of. And now, when he has turned 71, he has a message for the Indian and Bangladeshi youth. He says that the next generation should not forget the sacrifices made by people in India and Bangladesh for what they are today. Abhishek Bhalla in New Delhi for India Today.
And earlier today, I spoke to Lieutenant Colonel Qazi Sajjad Zahir on his journey. Let's listen in. And joining me now on India First is Colonel Sajjad, a former officer of the Pakistan Army. Colonel, welcome on India First. can you tell us the circumstances that made you leave the Pakistan Army?
The Pakistan Army started conducting genocide in Bangladesh. We had won the massive mandate in the election of 1970. They didn't give us our democratic rights. Rather, they planned for an operation which is called Operation Searchlight. In this Operation Searchlight, they arrested Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, took him away to Pakistan, and planning him to be executed by a military court. In Operation Searchlight, they started killing students, women, children all over Bangladesh in a massive way, followed by rape, murder, and looting. They formed militia forces in Bangladesh, which composing of some civilians who were Pakistani followers, and when going down to every village, every home, looting them, raping them and killing them. Being a Fauji, being a soldier who has been well trained, I could not sit tight. I thought I must stand beside my people in the time of need, in the time of crisis. That's what soldier is all about. So I decided to leave Pakistan Army, took 20 rupees in my pocket, and inside my boot, I had every information of the deployment of Pakistan Army across Sialkot and Jammu borders up to Sakargarh. And I walked across the border at night and came to India.
So you were posted then in West Pakistan. You were a gunner officer, and it was the Pakistan Army wearing the same uniform that you wore that was carrying out atrocities on the people of East Pakistan, Bengalis of East Pakistan, that's now Bangladesh. For the benefit of this generation, these atrocities were being committed by Pakistan Army personnel. What kind of atrocities, sir?
Pakistan Army commanders, they let loose the young soldiers to go to every village, loot the village homes, rape their women, kill their women, kill young people, innocent people, maybe students, maybe a cultivator, maybe a shopkeeper, branding them as Mukti Bahini and shooting them, keeping their dead bodies lying on the roadside of villages and towns.
And sir, you were posted then in West Pakistan. You crossed over into the Jammu sector, Jammu Samba sector. How did you cross over? What happened?
It's quite natural that I was a Pakistani officer. I came over through a very dangerous terrain. So suspicion came in their mind. Why did I come? Why did I take all the risk? And when I started discussing with them about tactics and deployments, and they thought he's such a young boy. How does he know so much? How can he be so accurate? And all these thoughts came in my mind. But then later on, I thought they developed confidence in me. They contacted Mujibnagar government. And Mujibnagar government verified me and requested Indian authorities to send him immediately to the battlefront so that I could fight with the Mukti Bahini. So it was a little bit of an ordeal, but I was ready for the challenge.
How did the Pakistan Army react? I mean, after all, you were a Pakistan Army officer on the rolls of Pakistan Army. What did the Pakistan Army then do to your family?
Well, Pakistan Army, after I escaped, they got the idea that I have taken their information, and they further came to know in the border skirmishes that I really had the plan. They came to know that I was a master of map reading, night navigation, and a good tactician. So they hold a court-martial and give me a death sentence. They sent fighting patrols to my villages, and they did atrocity there. And my mother, my father, and my brother, and two of my sisters were already left the village before that. lucky for them. My father had a small home in Dhaka which was burned. In fact, my father was a soldier of Second World War, and he joined the Mukti Bahini at the age of 55, was a company commander of Mukti Bahini. My brother joined as a guerrilla commander, and later on he was posted as the wildest operator and crypto operator under FJ Sector Commander Brigadier Sam Singh Babaji MVC. So our entire family fought in 71, all three members.
Oh, brilliant. Colonel, you were a second generation soldier. That means your father was a part of the British Indian Army. You were a part of the Pakistan Army. Then you came over to India. You helped train the Mukti Bahini. The language was an asset, but you also participated in operations in the eastern sector in what then became Bangladesh.
Well, I did a number of operations, especially when I joined. I had a lot of operations, day and night operations across the tea gardens of Sylhet, Pakistani deployment and Sylhet hilly areas. Then I fought a number of regular battles like Battle of Barolekha, Battle of Shamshernagar, Battle of Juri, Battle of Kulaura, Battle of Fenchugon, Battle of Mangla Bazar, Battle of Sylhet, a number of battles. In a large number of battles, I fought side by side with the Indian Army. It was my honor and pleasure to be a part of their force also.
Of course, you were fighting for the liberation of Bangladesh to save your people from the atrocities of the Pakistan Army. And you must have seen the surrender of 93,000 Pakistan Army soldiers. And this year, we are celebrating 50 years of that brilliant victory in that dash to Dhaka. But in your appreciation, sir, has Pakistan Army been held accountable for the genocide and crimes against humanity? Should they be held accountable?
General Rao Farman Ali was a civil military liaison official and advisor to the governor. He conducted so many genocides. He killed the intellectuals of Bangladesh in a planned way. He was made chairman of 4G Foundation. So nobody was tried, rather they are promoted. A shame on them because they have violated the principle ethics of humanity. Soldiery is a noble profession, is a holy profession. They violate the dignity of the soldiers. And we are ashamed to even think about such actions by Pakistan Army. If they would have kept their commitment, then so many martial laws wouldn't have come. So many of their leaders wouldn't have been killed because Pakistanis have killed every of their leaders right from the early days of Muhammad Ali Jinnah.
And as India and Bangladesh celebrate 50 years of that brilliant victory and the liberation of Bangladesh, the defeat of Pakistan Army, in your appreciation, Colonel, should Pakistan, not just the army, but the government of Pakistan, apologize for the atrocities committed in then East Pakistan, now Bangladesh?
Well, Pakistan Army, the time of apology is gone. First of all, Pakistan as a state should acknowledge that they had done war crime and they should admit their guilt, very important. Number two, they should hold a massive trial of every war criminal. If they are dead, they should try them posthumously. Number three, they should pay compensation to every war victims, including the women who are tormented. And number four, they should document their criminologies and rapes and murders so that entire world comes to know what happens if you conduct genocide. Genocide today and genocide yesterday and genocide of the future will be the same. We, the people of this world, have forgotten 71 genocide largely.
Colonel Qazi Sajjad, a privilege talking to you, sir, and honor. Many congratulations on the Padma Shri that was awarded to you at the Rashtrapati Bhavan for joining me here on India First. Many thanks.